I'd like to spend a few minutes and talk about the balancing structure, which, along with the reinforcing structure, are the only two structures used to create all relationship models. We begin with an empty tub, bathtub, and what we really want is a full bathtub. The difference between these two states is a gap. And the way that we depict the relationships is that the full bathtub adds to the gap, or the gap changes in the same direction. So that if I increase what I define as the full bathtub, the gap would get larger, and if I decreased it, the gap would get smaller. The empty tub, which is the current state that I don't want, if I actually put water in the tub, the gap would get smaller, and if I took water out of the tub, which I can't do at the moment because there's none in it, the gap would get larger. So that this is the opposite direction relationship, and this is the same direction. Now this gap serves as a basis for taking action, which is opening the faucet position so that the water will flow and flow into the bathtub. And this relationship is a bit different because of the nature of the tub itself. The tub is something that accumulates a quantity of something over time, or decreases a quantity of something over time, depending upon how things are happening. And it ends up that the meaning of the plus relationship differs whether or not the entity is a stock, something that accumulates over time. And if time were to stop, whatever that quantity was, it would still be there. Whereas the gap is just a calculation of the difference between the full bathtub and the empty bathtub. The gap doesn't accumulate over time. The faucet doesn't accumulate. So this relationship, because of the nature of this, as you open the faucet position, it adds to the tub. If you decrease the water flow, it still adds to the tub, but not quite so fast. So there's a difference between the way that you interpret the relationship, depending upon whether or not what it influences is a variable or a stock. So this set of relationships collectively referred to as a balancing structure or a goal-seeking structure. This is the goal that the structure is attempting to attain over some period of time. So we label it typically with what the goal is, and we identify or we sequence the loops within a relationship model so we understand what order to understand the story in. Additionally, this particular structure, the tub probably has a drain, otherwise how are you going to get the water out of it? And the drain actually subtracts from the water in the tub, as opposed to, I mean, if you open the drain, it subtracts faster from the tub, and if you close the drain down somewhat, it still subtracts from the tub, but not so fast. So this is a subtracts from rather than an alternative direction. So the two relationships are the influencing relationship being, if this is not a stock, then it changes in the same direction, so that if you increase the influencing element, the influenced element increases, and if you decrease this, this decreases. The other relationship is the opposite or subtracts from, depending upon the nature of the influenced element. So if this is a variable, if this increases, this decreases. If this decreases, this increases. Whereas if this is some sort of a stock, then the nature of the relationship is that this subtracts from the influenced element. Now, I realized that in the previous video I neglected to talk about how you tell one loop from another, and that is, you walk the loop, and if the number of subtracts from or opposite direction influences is 0 or even, it's a reinforcing structure, and if it's odd, then it's a goal-seeking structure. All balancing structures are goal-seeking structures. Sometimes the goal is implied, but there's always a goal. There is some balance that the structure is attempting to maintain, which is a property not found in any of the individual elements, but when you establish a set of relationships for a goal-seeking structure, that structure attempts to move something in the direction to attain the goal. So as I said before, there are only two structures that we use to create all relationship models: the reinforcing structure and the balancing structure. There may be numerous other relationships associated with it, though the essential structure of the balancing structure is simply a goal-seeking relationship, some desired state, some current state, and some number of relationships that are in the path to move that current state in the direction of the desired state. So in the next video, I will talk about how you actually go about using this set of relationships to develop meaningful relationship models that help us understand why things are the way they are. So take care. I'll see you in another video soon. Bye.